Mic check, mic check, mic check. And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate you tuning into the show tonight. We're doing a preview show for Joyce versus Donnie Palmer. And after we do the preview show, hopefully tonight we will do the live commentary for the fight, and then we'll do a post-fight. And hopefully, fingers crossed, tonight we'll have a few people on our show in the world of boxing. So it should be an interesting evening if I can get all the people I'd like to get on one show, packed into one show tonight. It would be good if I could. Yeah, so let's talk about the fight. So my initial thoughts looking at Donnie Palmer against Joyce, he's 6'10". He outweighs Joyce. He's taller than Joyce. And if you look at the weigh-in, he was in Joyce's face. He's 9-1 as a professional, Donnie Palmer. And he's one defeat. I believe he lost on a unanimous points decision or split decision. And the guy that beat him, this is if you box it, the guy that beat him has been stopped 3 times. Or he's lost 3 times. So now Donnie Palmer is ranked number 1 by Honduras. So depending on your boxing knowledge of Honduras, then he is the number 1 heavyweight in Honduras. He's Honduran. I don't know how many Hondurans I know that box, but hello to any Hondurans that are tuning in to watch this show now or later on post-fight. David Haye and his team once again have done a good job in promoting this fight, in the sense that you've got Donnie Palmer, that's big, he's tall, he's got a knockout ratio, and then he's fighting the 2-0 Joyce. But we've heard it before. Joyce is stiff, Joyce is robotic, Joyce is this, Joyce is that, and Joyce is going to be fed to the sharks. Okay. Problem is for Donnie Palmer is that I don't know anything about his amateur pedigree, but I certainly know about Joyce's amateur pedigree. And Joyce would have seen many fighters like Donnie Palmer, would have sparred with many fighters like Donnie Palmer. And from what I've seen of Donnie Palmer, he's big, he's long, he's rangy, but he hasn't got the technical know-how like Joyce has. He wouldn't have sparred, well, he would not have had the background like Joyce has. So it all looks good on paper. He's got a big knockout ratio and this and that and the other. But really and truly, based on Joyce's pedigree, a guy who's gone to the Olympics and done well at the Olympics, and Donnie Palmer, with all due respect, this fight is pretty much a walk in the park for Joyce if he doesn't get caught with anything stupid. Heavyweight boxing is such a way that if you get caught with a stupid punch, of course you go over. But the likelihood of something like that happening against Joyce, I think, is unlikely. I've seen some of the opponents that Donnie Palmer's fought. There was one guy who was so knackered when he fought him, he actually turned his back and the referee stopped the fight almost. So yeah, he carries power. He's tall, he's big, but that's it. When you're talking about fighting against a guy who's an Olympian, who has got good boxing skills, Joyce may be robotic and all these things, but I can tell you now that Donnie Palmer is not the guy who's going to exploit that, because Donnie Palmer is big. He's like 6'10", and I wouldn't say he's the most. I wouldn't say he's not the most athletic, but I wouldn't say he's the quickest out the blocks. So somebody who's going to give Joyce problems is somebody who's going to give him lots of lateral movement, speed, fast combinations. Actually, a guy like David Haye in his prime, the speed, power, movement, good footwork is going to give someone like Joyce problems, but not, or someone who's quick can get on the inside and land combinations quickly. Those are the kinds of guys that are going to give Joyce problems, not Donnie Palmer. I don't see Donnie Palmer having the equipment. He's big, he's tall, and he's in the face of Joe Joyce. And, you know, it's good. The one thing that Joe Joyce has got of this fight is that he's got a guy that's coming at him in his face and saying what he's going to do. That's great preparation for Joyce in bigger fights to come, for Joyce to prepare himself psychologically for guys up in his face. And this guy was right up in his face. If you go back and look at the weigh-in, Joyce flinched for a moment. But I'm not sure if he flinched because he thought Palmer was going to do something and he was getting ready to throw his right hand, or he flinched because he's actually shook and thought, hey, this guy's actually in my face. This is not meant to be happening. Criticisms of Joyce have been he is a bit robotic, always throws the same 1-2s all the time, and he has a personality which isn't great. But that's fine, because where Joyce doesn't have Mr. Fantastic personality, what he can have are opponents that can bring that personality out, i.e. someone like Donnie Palmer now, who's going to be the almost the guy that's going to be giving all the mouth and saying all the things. I think that's going to be good for Joyce's career. He needs guys like that in his career that's going to come out and say things about him and be boisterous and talk. That's why a fight with Chisora, I can understand it. Chisora's a guy that's not going to have a lot of footwork. He's not going to use a lot of footwork. He'll probably stand there, set in a ring, easy for Joyce to hit. That's why they'll take a Chisora fight. Not a lot of movement. Like I said, the kind of guys that are going to give Joyce problems are guys that are going to give him plenty of movement, or massive puncher. Danny Dubois, for example, would be a good fight to see. Nathan Gorman would be a nice fight to see with what's his name, with Joyce. And the other thing Joyce has got in his favor is his work rate. He's got a tremendous work rate. I believe he'll be fitter than Palmer. I believe he'll be sharper than Palmer. And I don't see this fight. If this fight goes 4 rounds, it goes too damn long, for my opinion. Joyce needs to be getting this guys like Palmer out in the first 1 or 2 rounds. He's one of these guys, I think, that he's going to get out of there and get out of there pretty quickly. Inside 3 or 4 rounds, I think no more than that. If we're going into round 6, 7, and 8 with a guy like Palmer, it doesn't bode well for Joyce's career. But I expect Joyce to do a job, look sensational doing it in his own way. I don't think at the age that Joyce is now, and that's not due respect to Joyce, I can't see him being that much more in terms of style. I can't imagine you seeing him be languid and loose in his style. I think he's always going to have that sort of robotic-like type style. But if it's robotic and it's effective, then fine. People criticize Klitschko for years for being robotic, but he did the job. If Joyce is able to stick the jab out and outwork guys, he might not knock everyone out, but if you can outwork guys and use that jab and keep people at the end of the jab, if he's able to do those things, Joyce, he'd be pretty successful, because he'll have the fitness and the stamina to go the distance. Like I said, and not a lot of the heavyweights in the world today have got great footwork and fast hands. So there's very few of them in the heavyweight division that are like that, and good footwork. So Joyce is going to do well for himself, I think. How far he'll go, not sure. but he'll definitely deal with Donnie Palmer. The fight tonight will be on, if you're in America, the fight will be on Ringstar. And if you're in the UK, the fight will be on Channel 5. Is Channel 5, is it? Or was it Dave TV? It's in Channel 5. I thought it was Dave TV. No. Well, if it's on Channel 5, even better still. I think it's Channel 5 at 10:30 p.m. So tune in. Good evening to my man James. Hope you're well. This is a series of videos I'll be doing tonight, but I wanted to get this one out of the way first. So Joyce, I expect him to stop Palmer maximum 4 rounds, but I expect this to be a highlight reel, a big guy, a real big guy getting knocked over by Joyce. That's what I expect to see. If Joyce is struggling with guys like Donnie Palmer, no disrespect to Donnie Palmer now. No disrespect to Donnie Palmer. What I'm saying is the guy with the Olympic pedigree and a good trainer in Salas and a good team around him, I don't see him struggling. And bear in mind, Ringstar and David Hay have so much faith in Joyce's success that they've already got it booked him out again for, I think, according to BoxRec, Joyce will be fighting again. Let me check this again. Let me make sure I get my information right for you before I start talking a whole load of garbage. Joyce was scheduled to fight again on the 5th of... Yeah, the 5th of April, 2018, at the O2 Arena. Yeah, the 5th of May, 2018, at the O2 Arena against a TBA. So he's already fighting at the O2 Arena, and he hasn't even gone past Donnie Palmer. So that's sort of confidence that David Hay and Haymaker Promotions have got in Joyce doing the job. So there you have it. They already know that that Joyce should get rid of Palmer, and they're moving on to May the 5th. Now, unless Palmer roughs up Joyce and cuts him over his eye or knocks him out, God forbid, we'll be seeing Joyce maintain his unbeaten record and in May fighting on the O2 Arena. That's the way I see it. Joyce should have really no problems against this guy. He may be a little cautious because the guy is a little bigger and may take him around to find his range. But I think it's going to be one of these situations where as soon as Joyce really connects, the fight could be over. It's one of those fights. It's a highlight reel. All the best to Joyce. And I hope Donnie Palmer proves me wrong. This is BWTM Sports. I will be back in a moment previewing either Amir Khan versus Greco or Hughie Fury versus Sam Sexton. Stay tuned.